Hi everyone, Shane R. Monroe here. Let's get this party started. Open your favorite browser and go to download.battle.net. Link will be in the description below, of course. Go to that location and it will start downloading automatically for you. Now we're going to save it in downloads. Make sure the exe extension is preserved. You can see I've already downloaded it here, so I could save another one. I'll just download it over the top, I guess. All right, overwrite it. That's fine. All right, once it's done downloading, it's very, very quick. Close out of your browser and head on over to your Dolphin file manager. Go to the downloads, find your entry for BattleNet. Got to sort it by name here. Right click on it and select Add to Steam. It'll do that in the background. We've got a couple of more tasks to do. So I'm going to use the split command so that I can see two different folders here side by side. And we're going to head to the CompatData folder. Now, I've got a link in the description below if you don't already have a shortcut, and you should. If not, take a look at my Dolphins tricks and tips. We're going to sort by modified so that the newest stuff is on top. And let's go to the library now. If I do a search for a battle, got so much crap in here, it's just easier to sort. There you go, BattleNet setup.exe. Select that, hit the gear, go to properties. And yeah, we're going to go to compatibility, and we're going to force the use of Proton experimental. Nothing else is needed for this. We'll hit play. Now remember, what we're doing now is launching the installer. We'll have a lot of work to do after this, but for now, let's just get the installer installed, if we will. All right, hit continue. Now this could take a few moments here. Sometimes this BattleNet update agent takes a minute or two. Don't freak out if it doesn't happen right away. There we go, and we don't need to launch BattleNet. Great. So now it's going to do the actual install. The agent was like a downloader or update tool. So now it's actually installing BattleNet. And now that it's done, it will try to launch BattleNet for you automatically. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and log in with our credentials. Now that little spinning thing down there could take a moment or two to clear. Just let it sit here for a minute. Now by the time I typed everything in, it cleared. Now I do my login. Get my, oh, black screen. Well, this happens to have something to do with two-factor authentication, and that's okay. I wanted to leave this in so you could see it. Don't panic. Everything's okay. We're just going to close it up and start over again. This is not normal, but it's not insurmountable. So we're going to stop it from Steam. Let's head back to the Dolphin file manager, dig into PFX, Drive C, and program files, BattleNet. Down here is the battle.net.exe. Right-click it and select copy location. We're going to replace the installer with the actual executable for BattleNet. So we'll rename it to BattleNet, quote, paste, quote, right? Quote, paste, quote, and then remove the file name. That's the path that it's going to start in. And now, this doesn't actually fix the black problem. It's just rerunning it again to fix the black problem. But I figured while we were rerunning BattleNet, we might as well point it to the actual BattleNet exe instead of sending it to the installer over and over again. By the way, you can now delete the installer in your download folder. All right, so once again, we're going to type in our stuff. And wait for it. There it is. I don't know, there's something slow going on over there. I don't know. All right, we'll go ahead and hit login again. Now, instead of that nasty black box, you should see your authenticator if you've got one. If you don't have an authenticator, you probably didn't see the black box at all. So I will find my phone and I will approve my authentication so we can move on. All right, now that it runs, it's going to scan for games. It didn't find any. And it's going to sit here. It looks like it's going to hang for a moment. Just don't panic. Let it finish what it's doing. BattleNet's not the greatest launcher, to be honest with you. Okay, so we don't need the tour. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I literally have a BattleNet t-shirt. Okay, skip. Okay, so now we have the client. Now we need to do a little something first. Let's go back to the Dolphin file manager, and I've made a folder called games. Now that could be on your internal storage, your external storage, or your SD card. I made a folder called games. I want everything from Battle.net to install into this location. I don't want it stuck in the Proton prefix because I won't have any visibility on it. And if I have to reinstall Battle.net, I won't be able to use it. So inside of here, we're going to drill ourselves into drive C, okay? And I'm going to make a symlink. I'm going to make a symlink for games. Back here, left drag and link. So now that games folder is actually on my SD card, which is where I want it to be. Let's go into settings, go to downloads, and if you change it from C program files, which is in the Proton prefix, and instead go to C games, see, those are the 3 games that were in there. So I've actually now, whenever I do an install, it's going to install the game into that location, not the Proton prefix. Now I know people are saying, well, Shane, just use one of the other drive letters. Sometimes the other drive letters don't work. That seems to change and vary from person to person. This way, with the symlink, always works. All right, so we're going to install Hearthstone here, just so that you can see indeed it did install over there. And I'm going to show you how to create a separate launcher just for Hearthstone. All right, so we've downloaded it. We're ready to play. I'm not going to play it. We have a couple more things to do. Close up Battle.net, and you can just say exit. That's cool. All right, now this is the tricky part. So we have Battle.net here, and it's still running somewhere in the background, so we'll have to probably force stop it. But let's say you want a separate launcher for Hearthstone. Now, you can't launch games without launching Battle.net first. There's some that'll let you do it for a while, but eventually you'll have to re-authenticate. So what we're going to do is create a separate launch in Steam for that game, even though it's going to bring up Battle.net. That's important because then maybe you could say have different controls. So we're going to go into Hearthstone. You're actually going to want to grab this Hearthstone beta launcher exe. I accidentally grabbed Hearthstone here when I did the video. I didn't want to reshoot it, but instead of this one, do the launcher beta and add it to Steam like you just saw. All right, so now we're going to put our CompatData back up because we're going to make a new one. When we launch this Hearthstone, which by the way, yours should be Hearthstone launcher beta. Mine just says Hearthstone. You're going to go in here, and once again, we're going to change our compatibility settings to Proton Experimental. All right. Now we're going to run the game just long enough for it to build a Proton prefix for us. Okay, so we hit the play, and then we stop it, say we're okay to stop. Now, if we go back to our CompatData, check it out. There's a new Proton prefix, but Battle.net's in the one right below it. So what we want to do is trick Steam into thinking that it's launching Hearthstone from within the Battle.net prefix. So grab this number. It'll be different for everybody. Delete it. Make sure you copy that to the clipboard first, and then delete it. Now we're going to left drag this anywhere and say link here and paste in the number. We are tricking Steam into thinking that Hearthstone is actually running from 388 umpty squat, not from 413. That way we don't have to have multiple copies of the launcher. We don't have to have any of that nonsense. So now when we run this, providing you actually hit launcher beta and not just that, you know what? I don't want to do you wrong here. Maybe you accidentally selected Hearthstone.exe too. I certainly did. So let's change this. All we have to do is go into the gear and properties, click in here. This keyboard keeps getting in the way, and change it to Hearthstone beta space launcher, just like you see on the screen. You got to be able to spell launcher though for it to work, apparently. Yeah, can't type over the microphone. Okay, now that we're actually pointed to the right thing, and we could rename it to Hearthstone or whatever we wanted, but for the sake of argument, let's just run it and make sure it works. Now, when you run this, it's running Hearthstone.exe, but that's rerouting you back to the Battle.net login, and that's what it's supposed to do. Again, I want to stress that you can't just launch the games. Battle.net always has to be in the way. Some games will actually let you launch Battle.net, will let you launch without Battle.net for a time or two, and then eventually it's going to ask you to log in. So you might as well just do it this way. We built the second launcher out of Steam so that we could maybe reconfigure the controls, right? Or give it some box art, make it look cool. At the end of the day, though, it's still running Battle.net, which is terrible. Now, remember, you can't delete Battle.net because we're tricking Hearthstone into running from the Battle.net prefix. So you can't go and delete Battle.net now that you've got this set up. Doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. You're just going to have to keep both. You could hide Battle.net if you wanted to, but it has to stay and remain on your system because it's really running from there. But I keep a second copy of Battle.net around just in case I want to launch and do maintenance of some sort, or maybe run a different game. So maybe I'll run Overwatch from the Battle.net launcher versus running Hearthstone from the Hearthstone launcher, which is still really doing the Battle.net launcher. It's very confusing, but say thank you to all these third-party digital lockers that want to keep you from using Steam. It's their fault that we have to suffer like this. Okay, that's it. So now we're good. We have Battle.net. I showed you how to use centralized storage to keep your game safe from the prefix, and I showed you how to make a separate launcher for each one. That should do it for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what we're doing, like, subscribe, hit the bell. You guys know what to do. I'm Shane R. Monroe. Thanks so much for watching, and take care. We'll see you next time.